Welcome to episode 176 of Downtime. I am your conductor, Alyssa, and by my side, as always, is Jeremy. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing well. I'm a little tired, but I'm hanging in there. How are you doing, Alyssa?
Oh, I know you're tired. I know your Twitch schedule yesterday.
Oh yeah.
But I'm doing well myself. I just made myself a pumpkin spice mocha because we're now in season, and it's a decent day so far.
That's great. And I just want to say thank you for stopping by yesterday. That was a lot of fun seeing you there. Like, I was freaking out because I was like, oh my god, this is like the second time you've seen me. And I think it's really cool that you're able to just hang out, stop by, and yeah. And for fans of the podcast, like, some of them were like, oh, yo, what the fuck? Like, what is she doing here? That's awesome. I was like, yeah, that's what's up. Celebrity.
Oh my god. And then for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, so Jeremy, for Aloha Fridays that he does on Twitch, he was streaming Dead by Daylight, and yesterday was the first time I actually watched him play Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
And it's a much more brutal game than I had ever imagined it would be.
It's pretty gnarly. Like, it's not gory. Like, there aren't like blood no, there's blood, but there aren't like guts everywhere. You know, it's like, even though some of these characters are known for having gory movies, like it's just retained to just blood and like getting hooked like through your shoulder when you like, it's disgusting. Yeah. It's just disgusting.
Yeah. So Jeremy lost like 4 times when I was watching it. But also so it was like you were fixing a generator or something. So it looked like the mission was fixing a generator. And then each time Freddy Krueger would come in and then take Jeremy, pick him up, and then hang his character, which was Steve from Stranger Things. He'd hang his character on a hook. And I was like, oh, this is how you play Dead by Daylight.
You caught me at a bad time. It was not. That's not the way.
What?
Yeah, that's not the way to win. That's not how you win.
This ain't it.
Exactly.
But yeah,
exactly.
A straight up like, and also when Jeremy's character is hanging from the hook, you can actually escape, but by escaping, it like kills him further. Because like your heart's pierced by a hook, so it's like if he's like. Basically, he's not going to survive either way. So I was like, oh my god, this is such a brutal game.
There's a 4% chance you can escape, and some people have done it. I've done it myself a few times in the past.
Okay.
But geez, like, you're risking so much. There are ways to increase that percentage by like introducing offerings, which are things you can bring in before the match starts, and you can increase luck, which includes unhooking yourself.
Which I saw you were explaining that to me.
Yeah. And you can stack it, so you can have a lot of luck, and then your chances of getting off the hook are even furthered. So I mean, it is a good thing, but like, it's pretty brutal in the fact that like there's so many decisions you have to make and so many choices you have to make regarding your own life and the lives of others on your team, and it's pretty stressful at times.
It looks very stressful. I don't play horror games a lot, so if I ever play Dead by, I don't think I can handle it.
I don't recommend it to you, to be honest.
Good to know. I will not play it then.
Yeah. But I find it fun. I've talked a lot about this game on this podcast and how I think about it as a sport now. Because in the beginning, I was like, I'm afraid of this. Like, I was actually legit scared because of how, the music was playing and the killers are just freaky. And now I'm just like, oh, I know who this is. I know how to like play against them. And
you are used to it now.
Yeah, I'm desensitized. But that being said, the new killer for DBD came out this week. His name is Pinhead from the Hellraiser films. Cenobite is the real name, and he's a cool character. Playing against him is interesting, and I'm enjoying the DLC. It is frustrating when you're playing against someone that has been playing that character all week and they're really good at it, and you're just like, well, okay, I'm still trying to learn how to play against you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that goes for a lot of the new killers in Dead by Daylight. But
For
regardless, it was a good stream, had fun playing with friends, and I think I want to continue playing DBD more. I fell off of it for a little bit because I felt burnt out and I wanted to take a break. And
to be fair, Jeremy, I think you say this like every 3 weeks.
I do. You know what? I do, and I always come back to it. It's the constant. It's like it's a bad relationship I have. It's like
it is.
Oh, why are you doing this to me? But I love you.
And in fairness to you, we are approaching Halloween season, so
True.
this is a good time to play Dead by Daylight and other horror games.
True. Yeah, that's very true.
Also, Jiro, who's been on guesting on the podcast before with Jeremy, was also on the stream.
Yeah, I want to get him back on so you can meet him. He's so cool.
Me too. Yes, one day I'll meet him.
Yeah, well, we should plan that. I'll ask him later.
Yes, sounds good.
All right, and
any other games you're playing?
Yeah, I finished Watch Dogs 2. The
Okay.
single player story, yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was a good game. Obviously, the San Francisco setting was something I was a little bit more keen to take a closer look at and was a little more critical. But overall, I had a really fun time playing in a virtual Bay Area, and I finished the game. It was a lot of fun to see the story unfold and see where Marcus's journey goes. And I can only hope for the best for the future. And I hope that maybe they come back to Watch Dogs Bay Area, like the Bay Area setting, because I really enjoyed it.
I've always wanted to play Watch Dogs 2 as well. Maybe I should pick this up at some point during the winter season when they're when I'm looking for a game to play.
I recommend it. It's definitely it definitely feels like a cozy game where you can be wrapped up in a blanket and you could just chill. Like, it's not super intense. There are some moments where you're in a gun battle and you kind of have to strategize and think about how you can get out of that situation. But for the most part, it's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's chill.
Totally.
And the last game I'm playing right now, actually, shortly before you jumped on this call with me, is Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island DLC.
I just bought it, but I haven't played it yet because I'm finishing The World Ends With You. But I'm hoping I can finish that in 2 weeks before Lost Judgment comes out.
Nice. Yeah. I'm also on the same boat. I started a game called Sleeping Dogs. I think I've talked about this in the past.
Yes, you have.
Yeah. I started it again. This is the third time. Wow. Yeah. Now I think about it, the last time I played it was like 2018 when we were doing that was like season 2 of this podcast.
Oh man.
Yeah. And that was the definitive edition on PS4, which I platinumed, and now I'm replaying it on PC because the definitive edition was only $3, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want to. Yeah. I kind of want to play it. Yeah, exactly, right. And so I'm replaying it on my new computer, and it looks beautiful. Still,
very cool.
From a game from 2012 that runs really well on a game on a computer from like the present day. It surprisingly works pretty well. I really enjoy it so far. Yeah, I mean, open world game. I'm trying to see if I can get through a lot of it. I don't think I'm going to finish it before Lost Judgment. I'm literally taking a day off from work to play Lost Judgment.
Did I tell you that I'm doing the same thing? I don't remember if I told you.
I think you did. I think you did, yeah.
But I'm also doing that.
Nice. Yeah. I'm probably gonna stream it. Like I mentioned before that I'm gonna stream the entire thing. And that's what I'm gonna do that whole day. I'm literally gonna wake up early, play it for an entire day, and then just like go to sleep.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, so Lost Judgment has a demo, but it's only for the Japan PlayStation Network. So you can't get it for any international PSNs,
Dang.
Unfortunately. I know, but I'm so excited.
I actually switched my pre-order from Amazon to GameStop because I want the I want the Steelbook edition of the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I was picking it up from GameStop. I didn't know that Amazon was not selling the Steelbook edition.
Apparently, it's a GameStop only thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we'll see. It says 13 days until it gets over to me, so I'm excited.
Oh, gosh. I would love it if it came on Thursday. Like, I just get a call from on Thursday morning. The game's here. Like, oh my god. And then I also have to take Thursday off. I'm sick. That's what I'll tell my boss.
I see.
But that would be really nice if it... Hopefully it comes early in the week. We'll see.
Yeah, same.
I'm like, my plans are to thoroughly enjoy it because we still don't know what the future holds specifically for the Judgment franchise. And Toshihiro, of course, is leaving Sega, and the thing is like he's one of like the actual creative heads and writers of Judgment. Like, he's no longer involved with Like a Dragon, but he is directly involved in Judgment. So I don't think this is the end. I don't think like that's necessarily the end of Judgment, especially if Lost Judgment's very popular and J&A figure out everything. I think that the future of Judgment is definitely gonna be based off of how successful Lost Judgment is.
Yeah.
So everyone support Lost Judgment, or just play Judgment if you haven't played it yet. It's gonna be a good game.
I'm just excited for all the features. I've been kind of like not looking at everything just to be like, yo, I don't want to spoil myself yet.
Yeah. It's good. It's good because as of right now, all of the trailers that are newly coming out in the last 2 weeks have been gameplay trailers.
Yeah.
So good to avoid all the storyline.
Cool. And what are you playing?
So the only thing that I'm playing is Neo: The World Ends With You, and so based off of how I'm progressing in the storyline, I think I'm in the final. So the game was split up into weeks. So there's week 1, week 2, and week 3. I think week 3 is the final week based off of how week 2 ends, where there's like a pretty substantial climax, and I think now basically I have to save the world in week 3. So
oh wow.
Which I suppose is why the game's called The World Ends With You. But definitely, like, week 3, like, we're in high stakes now. And
ooh, interesting.
And my team started off as 2, then 3, then 4, and now you can have up to 5 people by week 3. So,
oh wow.
I mentioned this on the podcast before, but the thing that I was not feeling about this game was I felt like the dialogue was too wordy, a little bit too much exposition, and a lot of things just took a while to get to. But I felt like at the end of week 2, the story starts getting more to the point, and then week 3 right now, the dialogue has not particularly been annoying me. So I think like there's a lot of filler basically in the first week and a half, but then once you get to the last week and a half, the story really like picks up. So it's a good game. I definitely suggest it for anyone looking for a JRPG, and I'm having a good time, and I'm hoping to finish that game by Tuesday or so. That's all. Cool. I'm playing.
Awesome. Wow, that's easy.
Yes. Super easy.
Cool.
I've only been playing this game, but I still feel like I've dedicated like 40 hours into this so far. Let's see what my Nintendo Switch says. Oh, I've only played 35 hours of this? Okay, that's a little surprising. It feels like I've been... Jeremy, it feels like I've been playing this game for forever. Also, don't ask me how many hours I've put into Animal Crossing. I just took a look at that, and I'm like, oh god.
I want to know. Tell me, I want to know. Please.
I've put... Oh god. Because I still play every week. Oh, Jesus. I've played 965 hours of Animal Crossing.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that. It means you love the game. That just means you love the game.
It means I love this game.
That's all it means.
Oh my goodness. All right. Anyways, those are all my updates for this week.
Let's move into some news stuff. I don't have too much.
Yes.
One thing I did want to mention is that we are both hyped for Lost Judgment, as you guys know, and as we just talked about. It releases worldwide on September 24th, 2021. Yep.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be great.
It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, and I am hyped for the THQ Nordic 10th anniversary showcase coming on September 17th at 12 p.m. PST. My hope is for them to show Time Splitters. I want them to show the new Time Splitters game. Because they're talking about reviving an old franchise or several old franchises. And it'd be cool to see Time Splitters because that was originally developed by Free Radical. That went under, and THQ went under, and then THQ was bought out by Nordic Games, and they became THQ Nordic. And now they're this juggernaut of a studio and just publisher. It's pretty cool. So I'm hyped for whatever they're going to be talking about. I'll be watching it on the 17th.
Yes, I think their showcase is going to be good, especially because Forbidden West is coming out next year in February. So I bet that they have a lot up their sleeves, I feel like.
Yeah, same. The last piece of news actually ties into a question, so I think we can tackle two birds with one stone.
All right.
Yeah, so from our Discord, Hooded Dude asks, out of 10, what would you give the PlayStation Showcase? If you could speed up the development of 2 games and bring their release dates next week, what would it be? Doesn't have to be from the showcase. Ooh. And then there's an off-topic question, which I'll ask after we answer these first two.
Yes.
So 10 being the highest. Alyssa, what would you give the PlayStation Showcase?
So, in terms of just hype, I give this a solid 8 out of 10. I thought this was a good showcase in presenting new games as well as games that are coming out in winter of 2022, as well as just showing a little bit of brevity of Deathloop's also coming out. So I feel like we covered all the bases. And also there were no weird flutes, there were no weird dialogues or anything coming out. It was like a very straightforward press conference. It just showed the trailer and everything in between. So I say it definitely a solid 8 out of 10. And they introduced the future of PlayStation 5, where they're, for example, Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2 in 2023. What else? I think Gran Turismo was also introduced.
Yep.
As well as they introduced new games like Project Eve, which looks like a modern day Bayonetta and looks absolutely fantastic. So I think it was a good enough. Oh, and then also they announced some pretty interesting remasters, like Uncharted remasters, not surprising. The Alan Wake remaster, I was like, what? This was not on my bingo card for the PlayStation 5 press conference. So yeah, so I thought that was a solid announcement as well. I do think that it was a decent amount of press to give hype. I think underlying the reason why it had to go big is because PlayStation 5s are obviously still not available. They're very limited. And now there's rumors that, this chip shortage might even last till 2023. So I think that they had to kind of go big with a press conference to at least make sure that people are still excited for PlayStation. And even though they might not have a console yet to buy a lot of these games, that this is what the future holds in 23 and late 2022 when you do get a PlayStation. But also, I think I wouldn't be surprised. if PlayStation's going to kind of like release pre-orders for their Christmas push. And that's going into a different topic, which I might actually try to get a PlayStation for Christmas this year. But that's besides the question. We can talk about that after.
Sure,
but I think
okay.
Yeah, but I do think that this was a pretty solid conference.
Yeah, I agree. I liked some things that I liked as well to add on were the Knights of the Old Republic remake announcement.
Yes.
I did not play the original KOTOR, but I am hyped for this because I think it's going to be cool. I still want to play it. I actually own it on Steam. I just need to find time to play it because it is a long game. That's cool. Wolverine got announced. I'm interested to see what that's about. Spider-Man 2 with Venom. That looks interesting. We got to see Peter Parker and Miles Morales kicking ass, and then Venom shows up. I was like, what the heck?
I know.
Got a first look at God of War Ragnarok. Didn't play the first one yet, but this one looks badass and looks awesome. GTA 5. I was like, man, if I saw the first trailer for GTA 5, like, let's say this is back in 2013, right? If we compare that original trailer to the one that got announced now, it's an entirely different game. You're like, there's like flying cars and all these crazy weapons going on and all these crazy vehicles. It's like, it's a totally different game now. And, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just like, they're never going to make GTA 6 online. Like, GTA 5 online or GTA Online is going to be the only online.
That's it. It's not happening.
Yeah, because it's made so much money. Like, GTA Online has made so much stupid money for Rockstar. Like, there's no reason for them to make another online and try to convert everybody over. Like, they already have everybody, so...
Yeah,
it's insane.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
If anything, they might just rename it.
Yeah.
Or rebrand, but the infrastructure is going to be there forever.
Yeah.
On your real quick, because you mentioned Knights of the Old Republic, I was very surprised to see that they were remaking this. I have not played the original, but I've watched my cousin play it, like way back, of course, in like the early 2000s. And then also, this is like one of the most like highly regarded Star Wars canon and lore, and a lot of people want movies and TV shows made out of this video game.
Yeah.
So I think that this was a shocking like announcement in a good way, because I don't think anyone was expecting this. At least like I haven't actively been looking into insiders about KOTOR, so if there really was like hints, I didn't see it. I think this will be pretty cool.
Yeah, same. I'm interested to see.
Yeah.
Cool. And the next question was what game, if you could speed up the development of 2 games and bring their release dates to next week's, which would it be? It doesn't have to be from the showcase. For me, the 2 games I would want to bring up to here would probably be BioShock, the next BioShock entry.
Yeah.
And Project 007, the game from IOI, that they're known for making the Hitman games. I want to see what that looks like. So, BioShock and Project 007.
For sure. I would say I'll name one just from the PlayStation showcase, just because I was very hyped by this. But Project Eve, I would love to I don't even know what it's about, but I'll play it. I would love to play that next week. And then it hasn't been announced yet, but the heavily rumored Persona 6, because whenever Persona 6 does get announced, that's like 3 years out. So like for example, whenever Atlas announces it, like if it's announced next week, it's still gonna be like 2-3 years till it actually comes out. So if Persona 6 is in production, would love for it to come out next week already. And then one more, even though it's 2, I'm going to say, if Grand Theft Auto 6 is out there, I want it out next week. If it's out, if it's even out there in the universe at this point.
Yeah.
I would love to play Grand Theft Auto 6.
Good answer. I also want to have a couple of honorable mentions. Pikmin 4. And what was the other one? I'm forgetting. No, not. If you want a meme answer, Star Citizen.
I don't know what that is. Star Citizen.
Oh man, okay. So Star Citizen is a space sim that has been in development for a very long time, and it has like over $500 million.
Wait, I know what this is. Okay,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I definitely know it. I just did a Google search. I'm like, oh, that one.
Yeah, yeah. It's got a lot of like awesome talent. Like
Yeah.
I think Mads Mikkelsen is in there, and
Yes, looks like it.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, Mark Hamill, Gary Oldman, Gillian Anderson. Like they got a bunch of people. Don Rice Davies. It's like, what the heck? This cast is stacked. It's cool. It's not 500 million. What's this? Let me see. I want to see what their budget is. Because it was like, and you could still donate to this day. It's like an insane amount of money.
$339 million.
There you go. It's a Hollywood movie. That's the budget of a Hollywood film.
Let's see where this dated. December 30th, 2020. The budget is $339 million.
Well, there you go.
And probably counting, because that was 2020.
It's definitely more, but
yeah.
You guys get the picture. It's a stupid amount of money. And the final question from Hooded Dude, off topic, what superpower combination you may choose would you want? Keep in mind the disadvantages they may bring. Wow. This is a great question. One of mine would be teleportation. I'd want to be able to go anywhere in the world because I would save so much money.
I think that's always been, like, when anyone asks me like to choose one, I do like teleportation as one of my options.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think there's a disadvantage that I can immediately think of with teleportation.
The disadvantage would be how you use it. Like, you might accidentally teleport in the sky in midair. You might accidentally teleport in the water. You might accidentally teleport in like a terrorist headquarter base. You might teleport. Like, there depending on how the teleportation power is used could depend on its negative impacts. So like, if it's like Jumper where you have to visualize that place, I think that's a little bit more difficult. But you know, I think that might want to be one of the only ways, unless it's like random teleportation, which would suck because then you can't live in one place.
Yeah.
But obviously this is like the negative effects. So like Hooded Dude's giving us an option to be like, okay, you control how you use that power. So for me, if I wanted to use teleportation, it would be like, I would definitely have to visualize it in my brain. But then like, that's the thing too, is like, what happens if you teleport to that space? Does your power adjust for any walls? Like, what if you teleport into a wall? Like, how does that work? You know?
Yeah.
It's not like Star Trek where you energize and then you appear. You could appear partially in something. Like, that's scary. But for something where you can just instantly teleport, your body would probably just reject whatever material was there. That's what I would hope, and push you away from that wall, or at least like give you space to know that you're gonna be there. I don't know how it works. Listen, I'm not I'm not a comic book expert. But what about you, Alyssa? How would you think that your teleportation ability would work?
So, imagining teleportation, it would be kind of like a simple I can think of anywhere to go, and then in the snap of the finger, I can just be wherever I want to be. Now, if I have the type of teleportation, which is much more random, like to your point, then that would be a disadvantage because then I don't know where I'd be. But if I had complete power over teleportation, and it's really just like my means of a car or a plane, and I can just go from point A to point B, that's that's how I imagine like a super powerful teleportation would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What would your second power be?
So this is kind of like I think this is a little bit of a risky superpower. But I've thought of having the superpower of healing, and then or having the superpower of not necessarily reading minds, but being able to kind of sense like feelings from people. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's like I can read your mind at this very second. It's more of, oh, I can sense that this person is like troubled, or like I do like a radar. Oh, this person's very angry right now and might like blow up some, like that type of thing.
Like a spidey sense.
Yeah, like a spidey sense. I don't know which one of the two I would choose. I guess healing would probably be like the easier power, just because healing's straightforward. But the disadvantage of that, of course, is when you're healing, you obviously use your power as well. So it's like, for the amount of energy that I'm putting to healing you, if you had like a broken arm, for example, then I'd have to recover. Who knows what that recovery rate for mana power would be if I had the power of healing. And then, of course, anytime where you start fucking with, like, you can read minds of some degree or some sort, I always feel like the main issue is, like, you can start sensing everything around you when, like, you don't want to. So it's like, I feel like when people have the clairvoyant powers, there's no on and off switch for it. You just have it all the time.
Yeah.
So I'd say those are like the major disadvantages. I think overall, I think it would be nice to have healing. So obviously it would have a very slow recovery rate, but I think that's the one I would choose.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so teleportation and healing.
Yes.
Cool. My second power, I've thought about this for a long time. My initial thought was time travel, but if we did Back to the Future time travel, that's obviously gonna have negative repercussions, because you could effectively change only one timeline and you'd have to find a way to fix it.
Yes.
If we did Avengers style time travel, where it branches out to different parts and like it all branches out from the main timeline, that can also be bad, because you can't go back to your main timeline and you're on a branch of a main timeline, and that sucks. So I feel like time travel is a negative. It's a lose-lose situation for sure. If you were to change one little thing, butterfly effect.
Yes.
Which applies to both means of thought, Back to the Future or Avengers.
Yes.
And yeah, this is a tough one. After giving it a little bit more thought, I think that like invulnerability to something would be fun.
Yeah.
Like to knives, like if I were to accidentally cut myself, or like I could stick my hand down the drain. What is it?
Oh, the garbage disposal?
Yeah, I could stick my hand down the garbage disposal and nothing would happen. I wouldn't do that, and that makes me cringe so hard thinking about that right now. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I think invulnerability to knives specifically would be an interesting
good one.
power. Yeah. Cuts like that. So yeah, I would choose that. I would choose teleportation and invulnerability to knives.
Yeah.
Blades specifically. Maybe we'll add in guns there too.
Hey, that's a useful one.
Yeah. So like
I'd love to be bulletproof.
That'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
I'm like Luke Cage. But yeah, so those would be my two. And yeah, Hooded Dude, thank you so much for the question. Really appreciate
thank you for the questions. On the topic of time travel, have you seen the movie Tenet yet?
No, it's on my list. I'm planning to watch it sometime.
Oh my god. I watched it yesterday, and oh my god. My biggest piece of advice for you is you have to watch that movie with subtitles.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I am thankful I watched that movie with subtitles, or else I don't think I would have understood half of what happened.
My brother is a huge Christopher Nolan fan, and when he watched that movie, he's like, I am so confused.
Yes. I can imagine if you watched that movie in theaters when it came out, it might have been the biggest mindfuck. And now that I've seen it just on my home TV, it is actually pretty complex, and they talk very fast as well. It's not as slow paced as Inception, or even though it's a highbrow concept, it was pretty well paced in how it was explained. This one like goes very quickly, so definitely watch the movie with subtitles.
Okay.
And it does have to do with time travel to some degree.
Cool. All right. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yes.
Sweet.
All right. And that's all we have for today. If you're interested in asking us a question, you can go to www.downtime.live. We have a form. We also have a Discord link, which is there and in the show notes, that you can join the Discord and ask us questions whenever you want, and also participate in the community. We have an email at... Oh my god. Crap. I think we actually did have an email. Hold on. Wait, Jeremy. I think
we did? Oh, yeah, we did.
Hold on.
We did have an email. We had it from Dave. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
Okay, I can read it.
Okay, it's funny because as I'm saying this, I'm like, oh shit, we had it.
It's all coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So before we officially close out, we do have a comment from Dave97, a direct email, which thank you very much for doing that. Actually, not direct, but it's from our website. So thank you, Dave, for submitting this. Dave says, "Hey, Jeremy and Alyssa, I'm glad to hear Jeremy enjoyed his Hawaii vacation. I've been to Hawaii twice, and it was during my childhood. First trip was to Oahu, second trip to Maui. The sunny beach and the sound of the ocean make for a nice combo. I even hiked up the Diamond Head Summit. Anyway, my question for you this time has to do with work-related stress. How do you deal with it? I recently started a new job. Even though I know I'm still in the training process, everything feels hectic, especially because they just moved me to a new department. For me, the stress will sometimes turn into anxiety. Sorry for the long email. Thanks, and keep up the great podcasting." Well, thank you so much, Dave, and I'm happy to hear you. I'm happy to hear you went to Hawaii. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And hopefully you can come back sometime soon and go visit when, not everything is closed. Wow. This is a great question, and I just had a talk with a friend about anxiety last night. But Alyssa, I'd like to know your thoughts.
So I've been at my current job for about I think exactly 2.5 years, and I remember I was very excited to be there. It was like the most excited that I've been in a very long time, all of these things. But then when I started the new job, I started having a little bit of anxiety started having an inferiority complex as well as imposter syndrome once I was 1 month or 2 months into it. And that was really, I think that was really rooted in, I got this new job. Am I really cut out for this job? And then I started really doubting myself, and even and this is crazy too because I'm still in training. It's not like I haven't even hit the ground running with an actual project. They were straight up still training me, but then I started having a lot of anxiety, and I started feeling really nervous, oh god, I don't know why I'm here, all these things. And I think my biggest advice to you, Dave, is that obviously it's totally okay to be nervous during the training period, especially in the first 3 months that you're hired. And obviously, because, we are not familiar with the environment yet, and we don't know, like, our supervisors, we don't know how our coworkers are, and we're just trying to get used to everything, and it's, like, completely understandable. But know that you are there for a reason, and because you are there, you deserve to be there. So, obviously, the training period is going to be nervous, and I think that's par for the course. And obviously, you just kind of have, like, training, you just have to get through it. But, I think that one thing you should be proud of is that you got the job, and you deserve to be there. And I hope that by knowing that, it like helps with your confidence through the training period, and that you'll start picking up your tasks, and you'll start having more confidence in, like, talking to your coworkers and supervisor and working on whatever projects you're working on.
Yeah, to add on to that, you were chosen for a reason. They chose you over everybody else, so I don't know how many other candidates, but just, relish in the fact that you were the one that got that job as opposed to all the others. I mean, not to put too much of a dark spin on it, but, a lot of folks are losing their jobs because of the pandemic, and companies are downsizing, or, whatever the reason may be. Just know that you were the one that got the job. And to add on with a personal story that Alyssa was definitely there for, when Alyssa and I started working together, I didn't know how to teach her because I was just told, hey, go teach Alyssa what to do. And I'm like, this is my second week on the job. Like, I didn't even know my own job. So how could I teach someone if I didn't know how to do my own job? But, we were learning together, and my advice is, like, to find somebody that has a lot of the common interests that you do, whether or not it's, like, someone that starts around the same time as you or someone that's been there for a long time. Just, like, make friends, and I think that will help lessen the anxiety, because after I left my job at the company that I worked with Alyssa at, I moved to a different company, and it was kind of a dream job to be there, and I was very anxious because I didn't know if I would live up to being able to do the job. 2 years later, now I feel very confident, and a lot of my anxiety has gone away. Although it took a long time, I do think that if you find a supportive network of people within your job to, echo concerns to, or if your manager is very positive towards you and offers help, I think that there are a lot of resources you can have which help lessen those feelings. But I hope that
exactly.
Yeah, I hope that everything goes well for you, Dave, and I hope that you kick ass at this job and you go above and beyond, because that's awesome that you got a new job during this situation.
I know, Dave. Congrats on your new job.
Yeah, congratulations, and thank you for submitting this comment and question. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Awesome. There you go. That's the only one.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And if you guys want to leave us a comment or question, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We'll read it on the podcast. You can find our podcast on Spotify and Google Podcasts, as well as Amazon Music. We're also on Twitter at Downtime.Live. If you want to connect with us on Discord, you can look in the description of wherever this podcast is hosted that allows links. There should be a link to join the Discord directly. Come through. This is where we record our own podcast. This is where we hang out with you guys. This is where we have discussions about everything from movies and TV shows to GameCube games to the Yakuza games, and just life stuff. So, yeah. So thank you guys for listening to Downtime Podcast episode 176. Hope you all have an amazing rest of your days or nights, wherever you are. And remember to stay healthy, stay safe, wear a mask, and be kind to each other.
Peace.